Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Today, I want to touch on a subject, and it's really about inclusivity. It's about creating a culture in your classroom that every student feels included. It's a hot topic. It has always been a hot topic. I'm not just talking about race, and I'm talking about race. I'm not just talking about gender, and I'm talking about gender. I'm not just talking about religion or any other thing that separates us as humans, and I'm talking about all those things. And that is, how do you create a classroom that values and recognizes who we are as individuals and celebrates that, and still holds every student to the same standards that you are required as a teacher to teach. I taught in a very, very, very diverse classroom, one that I did not grow up in. As you could see looking at this video, I'm as lily-white as they come. And I was raised in a community where people just were like me. I went to high school with people like me. I went to elementary school with people like me. I went to church with people like me. I listened to music that looked like people like me. And it wasn't until I went off to college that I had a little bit of diversity, not much, a little bit. But then I really went off to my teaching career and taught in a very diverse population with students that were nothing like me growing up, didn't look like me, didn't act like me, didn't have the same traditions and foundations, and many of them the faith that I had been raised in. And what I will tell you is, after 27 years with those kids, they taught me more about myself than I ever knew I had to learn. I can remember story after story after story when I would explain to them why I did what I did, and they explained to me why they did they did. And I remember thinking so much, that makes such sense now. Once I understood, I began to really be able to teach from that vantage. I assumed, because it's the vantage that I came from, that when you give a student homework, they go home and do what I did, which is we had a kitchen table we sat at, much like this one, where mom made sure that we did our homework, and then that's just what you do. I had no idea that there were students that were going home that were actually caregivers to their children, to their siblings, or that didn't have a parent at home. And I'm not talking about a skin color. I'm talking about inclusion, that their world at home did not look like mine. I would get a project assigned to build something or make a diorama or whatever. And my mother would take me to Kmart back in the day, or Walmart, and we bought all the necessary materials and we did what we did. And it wasn't until I was first teaching where I realized there are people that can't make their rent payment, let alone go to Walmart and spend $30 on some project that I created them to make. Again, not about their skin color, but about their life. And I learned that I have to start meeting people where they are if I ever want them to be where I know they can go. Hear that again. I have to start meeting people where they are if I ever want them to go where I know they can go. And so when I had a project that required materials, I went to Walmart, you know that stuff, when they put all that back to school stuff like on freebies, like they're basically giving it away. Please, dear Lord, take all these folders. And I just made a cart. And I would, when I got ready to assign the project, I would say, if you need anything, it's back there. And the kids that got it did it. Or when I assigned them homework to take home, I knew that some wouldn't complete it on the exact same timeline as others. And it's so interesting that we as a society spend so much time judging rather than understanding. And if those kids taught me anything, I will be forever grateful for their lessons. And that is, until you understand someone's come from, you have no right to tell them what's right or wrong about it. And so, how do you create a classroom that feels more inclusive? Here's a couple of strategies I think will make a difference. First and foremost, ask, don't assume. If they're coming into your classroom and they're not doing their homework, talk to them, find out why. Find out why. And I know some of you watching this video go, well, this is because they're lazy. No, that's your judgment. That's not a fact. So I would have students that would say to me, there's no one at home, we don't even have paper, we don't have whatever, and I would say, tell me what you need me to do. And so I would just get them a notebook. The notebook cost me a nickel, and now I have their homework. So ask, don't assume. Second, seek to understand rather than to judge. Help me understand why you're not doing this. You know you're failing my classroom. You know it, I know it. We can look at the paperwork, but why? Because see, I don't think anybody ever wakes up each day and says, I want to be terrible, especially those that come from a situation where for many of them, school is going to be their outline. Success in school is going to open a door that you and I never, ever assumed. And the third and most important one is this. My dad used to say years ago, don't judge a book by its cover. The color of a child's face and skin doesn't change the heart that still exists in there. It's just a package. It's just the package. And stop saying things like, well, I don't see color. I see all my children the same. That is the most disrespectful thing you could put out of your mouth. See their color. See their faith. See who they are. And seek to understand it. Stop whitewashing them as all the same, because they're not. If you just really get that down, and I think the real boiling down point to it is, someone taught us years ago as teachers that we're supposed to know everything, right? We're supposed to have all the answers, right? Because we're the teacher. Well, I don't know how to be a black boy. I don't know how to be a black girl. I don't understand when some of the Black Lives Matters happens, or the Me Too movements happened, or some of those things happen. I don't understand why that's such a hot button. What I do is seek to understand why. By friends of mine that are feeling that pain. Help me understand why. Now, I could still maybe think it's silly or not agree, but until we stop deciding that our way is the only way and that you have to do things like we do, we're going to continue to have what we have. When you see anger, when you see rage, that's a hiding. That's an outwards comfortable statement for pain. You don't see me. So give them a try. If you're having trouble and you're in a diverse world, which most of us live now, give it a try. Seek to understand and don't judge. Thank you so much for watching this one. Have a great day, everyone.